disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
What? Has the screen been black this whole time? Oh, the screen's been black this whole time? Are you fucking serious? Okay, should we start from the beginning? Here, you know what? We're gonna start from the beginning because that's just fucking stupid. I was so concerned about the quality of the stream, I completely forgot to stream the game. Okay, well. Well, you guys will get a catch up now. That's fucking stupid. Yeah, I heard about the Ollie London thing. I can't believe I did that.
Hi there.
Hi.
Thank you very much for playing The Beginner's Guide. My name is Davey Reedon. I wrote The Stanley Parable, and while that game tells a pretty absurd story, today I'm going to tell you about a series of events that happened between 2008 and 2011. We're going to look at the games made by a friend of mine named
I can't believe I
Coda.
did that.
Now, these games mean a lot to me. I met Coda in early 2009 at a time when I was really struggling with some personal stuff, and his work pointed me in a very powerful direction. I found it to be a good reference point for the kinds of creative works that I wanted to make. So just to start you off, this is, I think, the first game he ever made. It's a level for Counter-Strike. You can walk around here, by the way. And mostly it's just Coda learning the basics of building a 3D environment. But what I like is that even though he starts from the simple aesthetic of a desert town, he then scatters these colorful abstract blobs and impossible floating crates around the level. And of course, it destroys the illusion that this actually is a desert town, and instead this level becomes a kind of calling card from its creator. It's like a reminder that this video game was constructed by a real person. And it kind of makes you wonder, what was going through his head as he was building this?
No,
This
it's
is
a
what I
different
like
game.
about
We
all of
finished
Coda's
that
games.
on Friday.
Not that they're all fascinating as games, but that they are all going to give us access to their creator. I want us to see past the games themselves. I want to get to know
What the hell?
who this human being really is. And that's exactly what we're going to do.
This is like
here.
just an hour-and-a-half narrative
So,
game. It takes
it's 2008.
really short time
Coda
to finish.
starts making these games, and he never releases any of them. He doesn't put them onto the internet, he just makes them and then immediately abandons them, and they sit on his computer forever. And I think he really understood this image of himself as a recluse. At one point, he jokingly renamed his computer's recycling bin to Important Games Folder. So, you know, this was just how he worked. He tended to crank them out one after the other without even really pausing to try to understand what he had just made, until suddenly one day, he just stopped. In 2011, that was it. He made his last game, and then he hasn't made another one since.
The little orange blob
And
there.
that's why I've taken this opportunity to gather all of his work together.
Hi, dog.
Is because I find his games powerful and interesting, and I'd like this collection to reach him, to maybe encourage him to start creating again. And if the people like you who play this also happen to find his work interesting, then I'm sure it'll just send that much stronger of a message of encouragement to Coda. So thanks for joining me on this. If you have a particular interpretation that I haven't mentioned here, or if you just need to get in touch, you can email me at daveywreden@gmail.com. Okay, that's about it for introduction. Let's take a look at Coda's first proper game.
All right.
As each game is loading, I'll show you the date that it was completed. This first one was made in November 2008.
I still can't believe I did that. I'm so fucking stupid. Oh, that was hilarious. All right. Well, anyway, I'll cut that out. I'm going to post this on my YouTube channel. I think I'm going to scrap the VOD YouTube channel just because my main one has more following power, I guess. Ooh. Oh, God, here we go.
This game is called Escape from Whisper, and it's one of the more generic games you'll see from Coda.
Pew, pew. Pew, pew. Pew, pew. Pew. Nice, nice, nice. Look at the...
Hostile alien life form inbound.
I know I'm out of ammo.
it kinda looks like this game was abandoned mid-development. For instance, you have this gun, which you'd think would indicate that there are supposed to be monsters or enemies somewhere, but then clearly there are no enemies anywhere. You can't even reload the gun when you run out of bullets. But ultimately we don't really know. Maybe Coda thought that actually it was complete the way that it is. And I think that we should talk about his games for what they are, rather than for what they're not.
Enemy force neutralized.
Yeah, I remember playing this game in high school, and I thought it was really interesting how it's just you walking forward through a story.
I love
and
how you can see the bottom of the universe from this room.
It's one of the inspirations I'm using for the game that me and my friend Dylan are working on. Basically, the premise of the game is it's a narrative horror game where you just tell one simple story, but the only controls you have is like looking, it's like a hallway like this. You can only look from side to side and up and down, and the only way you can move is forward, and it just kind of forcibly guides you through the story. Anyway, that's a random tangent. Let's go!
Apparently this space station has a labyrinth on it. Sure, I don't know. There's really no reason for it that I've ever been able to discern, so in the interest of time, I'm just gonna skip you on past it.
Okay.
Okay, this is the part that's interesting. The game has this narrative about the whisper machine and how it has to be turned off, and then you get to the engine room.
Ay, ay, ay.
Hey, you there, in the engine room. You could save us all. That beam is
Yeah,
powering the whisper
absolutely.
machine. We could disrupt it by introducing a great enough heat signature. If your body could stop the beam. It's so much to ask, but for all of our lives, would you do it? Could you give yourself?
I sacrifice ourselves. All right, let's go. I want to die. Okay.
Let me pause here for a second.
Okay.
What you just experienced, stepping into the beam and then dying, is probably what Coda had initially intended when he was developing this level.
Oh.
But when he first compiles and plays it, something goes wrong. There's a bug somewhere. And this is what happens instead.
Oh, okay. Whoa. Whoa.
The beam causes you to start floating. And this is an important moment for him. Because yes, this is technically a glitch, but Coda identifies something human about it, like how small it makes you feel in the face of this larger chaotic system. Or this floating could be the afterlife, a peaceful place, juxtaposed against all of the hysteria that you've just had to traverse. I don't even know. I have no idea what he was thinking, but what's clear is that after making this, something lodges itself in his brain. He wants to do more of these really weird and experimental designs. So he stops work on this and moves on to a stream of tiny little games that go in all sorts of directions. Let's go ahead and take a look at the first game he made after leaving this one behind.
Yeah, I was thinking of like sending like trailer. We're gonna have like a demo, like a /demo/playable trailer for people to, you know, the past was behind her. But yeah, we're gonna have like a playable trailer for people to give their critiques on. Why can't I move?
So try walking backwards. Yep, in this game you can only walk backwards.
Oh, the past was behind her. Okay, this is weird. It's cool, but weird. I love it. But the future.
So it's a
could
short
not be
and
seen.
relatively minimalist experiment combining motion and narrative. It is less advanced than the previous game, but actually
Why
it
does
seems
the
to be
future
more
keep
focused, more
changing?
complete. Coda's trying to give it a unique voice rather than simply basing it on a pre-existing trope.
Whoa. That's weird. Is there... Why does the future keep changing? Whoa. It just went into... Okay. When she stops and looks, it becomes clearer. Okay. But if the future is always behind her, how will she find the strength to confront it?
It's a short little thought, it says what it wants to say, and then it ends.
Huh.
Didn't need anything more than that. Which to me is why it works, because it gets out quick. Okay, next one.
November 2008. I can walk forward in this one? Okay, let's go. You are now entering. Is that
And
it?
that's it. Okay, the meaning of this game won't be clear just yet. Please be patient with me for a few more games, and I promise you'll see what makes it interesting.
Alrighty. December 2008.
Oftentimes, Coda would put bizarre titles like this one at the start of his games. I wish I'd known him at the time that he was making these early games. He would really only talk to me about his work as he was making it. Once he stopped work on a game, that was it. It was dead to him. And I don't agree with that at all, but what are you gonna do?
Whoa. I'm slowing down. Oh, come on.
Once you've been slowed to an absolute crawl, the door at the top of the stairs opens.
Oh, that's infuriating.
So why, if Coda's not showing these games to anyone, why bother opening the door at all? Well, to show you, I'm modifying the game here so that when you press enter, it'll bring you back up to full speed so you can enter the door for yourself.
But that's not what he wanted. But he didn't. Okay, enter. I mean, he did it for a reason, right? Whoa. You walk and talk. There's a pair of floating eyes emitting noises. You are the queen, dusting your jewelry while your kingdom is destroyed. Series of lavish manuals come with the game,
A
giving
room
you
that's warm
incorrect instructions on
and
how
nice
to...
and filled with little ideas for
Huh.
games.
Whoa. Read an enemy's emails to learn how
Coda
to beat
would often
them.
tell me that he didn't mind if people thought of him
Games
as
filled
cold
with chairs
or
except
distant.
one chair is floating.
He said that he knew that he was actually a vibrant and compassionate person, but that it takes time to really see that. It can be a very
Whoa.
slow climb to get there.
Sharks are trying to eat you simultaneously. You are trying to eat the sharks. You construct a okay. Ready, set, fish. Okay. What the hell? This is like when I got Gary's mod and I was just randomly exploring different maps.
Well, this is new for Coda. It's an actual puzzle. Go ahead and see if you can solve it. Don't forget that solution, because we're going to see this puzzle again soon.
All
We're
right.
gonna see it a lot.
This is just a room?
So that seems to be it, right? You walk down a corridor, you solve a puzzle, you get to the end. Simple enough.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm going to modify the game again so that when you press enter, it'll remove all of the walls from this room.
Should I do it? Okay. Whoa! Whoa, what the hell?
How about that? There was more to it than we had any way of knowing.
That's insane.
I actually find it funny that this game comes after the Stairs game, since they essentially convey the opposite idea. So, in the Stairs game, a dull exterior concealed a rich interior. And then, in this level, a dull interior hides this fantastic outer world. Either way, I think that the point is the same, is that most of the time you don't get to know what you're missing, or even that you're missing anything. That's not your role as a player. So if your role here is not to understand, then what is it?
I think it's to experience someone else's perspective. Because video games are an art form. I've learned that. I don't know, that's just my take on it. like video game design and video games themselves are an art form. It's you expressing yourself through these worlds. So it's not always about understanding the game. Sometimes it's just about witnessing a story that wants to be told. You are now exiting.
Aha. So this, combined with the entering game from earlier, tells us that Coda believes his games are connected somehow. It could even be that the stairs game and the puzzle game are literally connected in between this and the entering game. There's a bigger picture that all of his games are meant to play a role in, some larger meaning that we won't be able to grasp until we've seen all of them. And once we have, we can step back and start to understand what exactly that bigger picture is.
Huh. Alright. The Great and Lovely Descent. I'm blind! I see. You guys want to hear a funny story? So, when my family went to go get like yearly Christmas photos at one of those like photo studios or whatever, you know, like they had them at a Walmart or some shit. My brother, when he was like maybe 3 or 4, every time the flash went off, he'd grab his head and scream, "Ah, you stole my mind!" I just thought that was the funniest thing when I was a kid. Okay, let's focus on the game. Just a house in the middle of nowhere.
Let's talk about video game development for a
It's my
second.
dream.
Every video game runs on what's called an engine, which determines what the game can and cannot do.
Right.
So in other words, the engine is a set of tools for game development.
Okay.
To make all of these games, Coda is using an engine called Source. Like all engines, Source has certain things that it does well, and it has certain things that it does poorly. One of the things that it does very well is boxy linear corridors.
Right.
That's why so many of Coda's games are set in these large, flat, empty rooms, is just because he's working with what the engine does well.
All right, I
The
guess we
tools
gotta
available to the creator shape what kinds of creative work they're going to end up making. You might consider paying attention to the architecture in Coda's games, to notice how they seem to stem from an engine that's very good at producing linear, boxy corridors.
go. This is fucking crazy. Oh my god, we can fall. Ah! Ah! Okay, okay. Oh my god! Fucking hell. Hold on, 1 second. My mother's texting me. I'm good. Alright. Oh my fucking god! That was close. It's a leap of faith, Miles. That's all it is. Okay. Anyway, anyone excited for the new Spider-Verse movie? Because I'm hyped for that shit. Oh, I barely made that. Okay. Ah! Oh my god. Okay, we're just... Come on, we'll make it to the bottom. What the hell? When is it coming out, the new Spider-Verse? I think sometime next year. I'm pretty sure. Is that a VHS? No, it's a light. VHS tape. What am I? In my 30s? Okay. What the hell? Oh, okay. I guess we going to jail, boys.
This prison Funny enough, in Coda's original design, the doors stayed shut for a full hour before letting you go. If you don't mind, I think we're gonna skip that. This is something that he and I used to argue about a lot. You know, whether a game ought to actually be playable, whether it means anything if no one can get through it. And I would always defend that, you know, all this work goes into the game, why not make it playable and accessible?
Right.
And so we just got into heated arguments over it, and there was one time that after one of these conversations, he went home, and a day or two later, he sent me a zip file entitled Playable Games that was full of hundreds of individual games, each of which was just an empty box that you walked around in and nothing else. Believe me, I played every single one of those just to find out if there was like a gag hidden somewhere.
Oh, June 2nd.
There wasn't.
Sweet. Well, yeah, because once again, this is just someone using the video game format to express themselves artistically.
It's the puzzle again, with the exact same solution as the last time.
Okay.
There's still no clear indication of what makes this puzzle so special that Coda is going to return to it over and over. But I promise I'll share with you my interpretation very shortly.
Okay. I love how atmospheric this game is. I love it when games do this. Like, it's not really a action game or anything, it's just a story being told through this interactive format, and I love it. You there, did you come from up above?
Here, Coda begins
was up
using a
there?
kind of dialogue system that he fashioned out of the engine's chat capabilities. Use the 1, 2, 3 buttons on your keyboard to respond.
Okay, you there, did you come from above? What was up there? Yes, there were floating colored box. Yes, there was an enormous prison I spent hours in. That's the world above. You've been there. Now this is important. Did you have to get through a puzzle with doors and switches? Again, perfect. Now please tell us how you solved it. Tell us the solution. Tell us to get how to the other side. Trust me, you don't want to go over there. Do you understand it's the most important thing in the world? We have to escape this prison. There must be an ending. I promise you there's nothing I want more. Alright. More of these fuckers. Hi. Hello there. How did you get here? Was there a puzzle you had to pass through? No, we actually find the black space between the doors to be far more interesting. Have you seen it yet? Yeah. Don't think too hard about it. Okay, that's easy. You'll see it again soon. Alrighty. Let's go, doop-a-doop, doop-a-doop.
And so we make one last descent down to the final floor of the level.
Oh. Huh.
It's a lamppost. Okay, I can't tell you quite why, but for some reason, Coda fixates on this lamppost. It's going to appear at the end of every single one of his games from here on out. I'll tell you what I think. I think that up to this point, you know, he's been making really strange and abstract games with no clear purpose, and maybe you can only float around in that headspace for so long. Because now he wants something to hold on to. He wants a reference point. He wants the work to be leading to something. He wants a destination, which is what this lamppost is. It's a destination. We're gonna see it in the work as well. His games are just gonna become a lot more cohesive, a lot more fully developed, with more of a clear idea behind them. And as we go, that idea will get clearer and clearer and clearer.
Yeah, Mochi, remember how I mentioned my heart rate? It's 91 beats per minute right now, and that's just from sitting here. This game is connected to the internet. As you walk around, you can leave notes. All notes you see are left behind by other players. Ooh! I want to leave a note. Nice room. Not.
So first off, I'm sure you can deduce this, but this game is not connected to the internet. All of the
point to
notes that you're
this.
gonna see have been written by Coda.
Huh.
This was actually the first game of his that I ever played. This was shortly after I met him at a weekend game jam in Sacramento, where I grew up. I saw him working on this very level, and it was just so different from anything that anyone else was doing. So right away I was like, I have to be friends with this person. In retrospect, I think I was probably a bit too pushy, trying to get his attention.
Everyone read this.
I was over enthusiastic.
Hey!
But he was very gracious about it and very
This place
patient
makes
with
me sad.
And I cooled off eventually.
Ah,
Feel free
hold
to
up, I
skip
need to
over
take
any
some
of
deep
these notes if
breaths.
they're not doing anything for you. Nothing extra is going to happen if you read all of them. Either way, to me they convey a
Okay.
sense of loneliness. I see this person who's filled with thoughts and
I'm
feelings
king of the
and
world.
beliefs and has no
Okay.
way to express them except as scattered and unheard voices in a game that wasn't meant to be played.
Balls. How is there wood and grass and concrete here?
But
What
it's
the
ironic,
fuck?
isn't it? That in playing this game and seeing how alone Coda often felt, that we
Do not be
get
afraid,
to know him
do not
better
care.
and actually kind of connect with him. And I have to be honest with you, this idea is really
I
seductive
just
to
saw a
me.
flying penguin.
That I could
Let
just
me tell you, it was the most majestic
Play
thing I've
someone's
ever
game
seen. I don't feel like I'm
and
moving
see the
because I don't
voices in
know.
their head and get to know them better and have to do less of the messy in-person socializing.
Could it be the
I could just
coke you
get to know
snort?
you
I mean,
through your
drink.
work.
Um,
I think
No
this is why
comment.
I always liked Coda's games so much, is because it felt like they let me have that connection. I felt as though he was inviting me personally into his world. And
it does
then I
make your
feel
chest hurt
lonely,
though. It's
too.
kind of annoying. I feel like I need to like do jumping jacks or some shit. The guy over there wrote so much. How do I? You get used to it. All right. What the shit is this cavern? Boring. I can assure you, guaranteed, that there is an acorn somewhere here in this place. The sailors are looking for it. Hey guys, just looking for someone to talk with. Don't I know it? I refuse to believe. Butt ass butt. I need to go to the freaking bathroom. Recognize me, please. Have you had the throat closing? No, it's just like my heart raises to like 90 to 100 and it feels like there's an itch inside of my chest. It's annoying. I probably need to like call a doctor. Don't listen to that guy. A free t-shirt. Need other side door. Why you so? Door how open? Makes game includes door. Cannot open door. Thanks. Open sesame. Someday I will meet the person that made this. I help people because of the internal good feeling I get. Hope it's nothing. Yeah, me either. It didn't start until Monday. Whoa. New room. I I would like very much to be desired. Oh, okay. Scared of writing something, didn't want to feel judged. It's not very crowded here. Don't bother. You can go in here, I think. I just want to read all of these. But we don't have time to read everything, right? Because, yeah, we're just gonna... Stop, turn back, proceeding further will only result in misery. Hey, what's this one low dude thinking? Take my hand, let's jump together. What the fuck? Okay. Cabbage shapes our nation. My cabbages! What is the painting? Doesn't matter if you get there. Hey, don't talk to me that way. I think this is not going anywhere. I think this is not going anywhere. What? I need someone to talk to. Oh. This is a note? Don't listen to the other notes. I'm not safe. What the fuck? Painting, what does it mean? Oh fuck, I knocked over it. Sorry, I'm like checking my heart rate. There's always something wrong with me, isn't there? Either with the stream or with my body. Yeah, it says it's 108 right now. Yay. Whoever made this has issues. Same here. Don't we all? Hey guys, how's it going? Just hanging. Help. It's the vaccine. I got myocarditis from the vaccine. Hi. From here, it just looks like dots. Cabbage shapes our nation. The dude from Avatar. Spoilers. It doesn't mean anything. Stop pretending you are other people. Who are all of you? Well done, all of you. Wait, what's that one that's like halfway through the ground? Today I learned you cannot fall off. Ethical. I saw a person walking down there. Now it won't come back. Yeah. Devil Tower Star. Maybe I'll feel real someday. Huh. Well, I'm here now. Yeah, we're all here now. There must be a reason for it. His terrible secret, he kept it well. I beat the game. More room.
At the end of this level, we're going to see the puzzle again. And here, I'll tell you what I think the puzzle means. Each of these games represents an idea that was on Coda's mind at the time that he was making it. And the puzzle is a way of closing the door on a previous chapter of his life before moving on to the next one.
I wish there were notes in the real world. Become one with the spiraling nonsense. Downward! Keep digging!
With each of his games, after exploring a theme that, he might find difficult, Coda can then place this puzzle that he knows has a reliable solution, he understands exactly how it works, and so it gives him a simple mechanism for moving on.
Help. Shit, how do you solve it? Developer, answers please.
And because there's this dark area between the doors, a space between spaces, before you move on, you get to pause. Just for a moment, a few seconds to reflect on and let go of the events that led you here. To step back and connect the pieces together. To grasp at that elusive bigger picture.
Alright. Moment over. How do you leave notes? Are you there? Please say something. It can be anything. I just need you to say something. Talk to me, please. Why are you having so much difficulty talking? Speak, 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 speak. Porn stars die too.
Okay, this one is tough. It's gonna kind of just spin its own wheels for a few minutes. Hang with it.
All right.
See, like, this is it. The whole game. And there's nothing that's particularly interesting about it. You just walk to the end of a hallway. Except, for some reason, Coda gets really fixated on this prison that has all of this modern furniture. And I don't know why, but he decides he needs to revisit this prison. He's gonna start over, use the same assets, turn it into something else. Okay, cool. Here's version 2.
Oh, all right. Nice. What furniture ought to go in the center of the room? That's not a refrigerator. Ten stoves lined up against the wall. Okay. Ooh, Tesla coils in every room. Those are sick. Who are you? Where exactly are you doing this from? Huh. Whoa.
There's a bit more to this one, but still, it's not really communicating anything. It's kind of just weird for weirdness' sake.
That's, yeah.
So, okay, he throws it out and starts over. This time he comes at the prison idea from a different direction.
Hello, please walk forward. This guide will enable you to escape any prison environment. Follow the instructions carefully, take care to remember each step. First, click on this table. Alright, turn the floor lamp off. And that's it. In a real prison, the escape will not open. Return to the start to be taken back to your prison. Huh.
And of course, now the table is gone and you can't begin the chain of events to escape. Here's a version where there are no bars, but you can't actually get to the well. And then a version where the inside of the prison is the outside and the outside is the inside.
Huh.
Let me just blink you real quick through a few more of these. I mean, he really unloaded on this prison idea. There's nearly a dozen of them. Personally, I think it's awful to watch this, to see a person basically unraveling through their work. And for what? Like, at what point do you just go, maybe there are game ideas other than this prison that I could be working on? But Coda doesn't have that voice telling you to stop, that particular mechanism of defense against yourself. Without it, you just spiral. And so he keeps going and going and going and going and going, and then he hits on something. And he likes it. And that's it. He's done. He stops making prisons. This is the very last version of the prison game that he created. And the reason I think it works is that the prison is not actually in it.
Huh. There's the lamppost again. Okay. Hello. Who is this? Hey, it's me. I'm you after you escaped from the prison. Sorry. You're me? So you're trapped in this prison too?
It's a conversation. And so this is what Coda wants, is to be able to talk to someone, to share what's on his mind, and to get some good advice from someone who knows.
What's it like
But the
to
irony
escape?
is that even in this scenario, you're still talking to yourself. You know, all of these games so far are Coda talking to himself.
Do you feel any different? Sometimes I'm scared I'll get out and then things will be exactly the same as before. Wait, if you're me, then did you get a call from another version of you when you were trapped? Yes I did. That's how I escaped. What did they tell you? What did you have to do to get out? All they told me was to be sincere. How does that work? It will make sense. Sincere about what? That's exactly what you need to figure out in order to escape. Huh.
I can see why he considers this a fitting conclusion to the prison games. After all of the obsession and frustration, just to be told by someone you can trust that things are going to be okay. Wouldn't that be nice? So what would it look like if Coda wanted to make a game about talking to someone other than himself? To me, this environment is meant to represent Coda's puzzle, with the two doors on either side and a dark transitional space between.
Huh. My goodness, I'm glad as heck that you showed up. Thought I might be having to clean this entire house myself and might be right miserable that would have been. Everyone knows lonesome hands make lousy homes. Hi!
You'll notice that the quality of the art is a step up from previous games, including this new and improved chat system, which he started using from this point on.
Well, you might
From
just
here
be
on out,
getting
he begins putting much more effort into the visual polish of his work, and this particular game took 2 months to create as a result.
Run to the bedroom and make the bed. Bathroom. This is a pretty environment. Straighten out the rug a little bit. All little details matter. Grokadin. Just changed up the usernames. Grunkle Grok. I love that. Do you enjoy being a house cleaner? Well, I don't enjoy it as much as I need it. While I'm working, I feel kind of calm. That rests in the pit of my rib cage. My soul can't be smoothed any other way, it seems. Which I guess is all that matters. Oh, and a tidy couch. Would you straighten out the pillows on the sofa? There we go. Alright. I feel compelled to share an incredibly cheesy personal insight. You okay with that? Make it especially cheesy. Game dev's grumpy uncle. I love it. No, that was stupid. Sorry, never mind. Hey, the dishes need to be washed. Why don't you come do that? This is a pretty little house. The tub needed cleaning. How about you scrub that down as best you can? Nice. Books scattered on the floor of the bedroom. There we go. Perfect. How about you come and clear these dishes off the table?
After the intense set of prison games, this house cleaning level almost feels like cleansing. It's the moment after a particularly difficult or traumatic experience where you just need to let it sit and digest inside of you, and eventually cohere into something meaningful.
Why don't we be with the task at hand and leave the future chores to future you? Present you wants to smooth out the rug in the bedroom, believe it or not.
Of all of his work, actually, this was the only one that he called me up to ask me to come over and look at it. This was during a period of a few months where he was like grossly happy all the time. Just walked around with a constant smile on his face.
Earlier when I said I had a really cheesy thought, I was going to say that it occurs to me that one's house is a lot like one's soul. You take care of it and it takes care of you. Don't know why I felt so weird about saying that. But there's a bit of truth to it. Anyway, so, housekeeping. Let's keep doing this. Books, could you clean up the books? Thanks. Alrighty. Oh, man alive.
I'm glad you found some peace.
What do you want to say? Question. Do you enjoy
of course,
this?
it can't last.
Oh, no
The
way.
music stops, your companion is gone, it's time to leave. The door at the top of the hill is now open as well. Again, you can't stay in the dark space for too long. You just can't. You have to keep moving. It's how you stay alive. Which is the whole point of the puzzle doors, right?
Yeah.
That sooner or later you have to pick up and move.
Kind of like night, or like
I really thought
night,
that was the
night
point of it.
mochi. It's kind of like real life, though. You know, you kind of have to move. Items you
This
love at
one
members
gets
only
a bit
prices.
goofy.
Why did you come here today? Was it to improve your life? Was it to get a better job? Was it to make your relationships more meaningful? No. You came here to become perfect. This workshop is going to teach you how to be perfect. I want your friends, the people in your life, to look at you and think, wow, this person is a better human being than I am. Right now, who do you think about that way in your own life? Who do you know is so well developed as a person that they make you feel disgusted with yourself, compared to whom you feel useless, selfish, ungrateful? I intend to make you into that person. Perfection is within your grasp. And the question is not how do we do it, but how do we do it effortless? I fucked it up. Effortless.
About halfway through the game, the perspective shifts.
What the fuck?
And you play as the teacher. And suddenly, you discover that your teacher is just as bigoted and afraid as you are. Oh, and also you can move around the classroom now.
What? Do you understand that you won't be happy until you love me? This is for you. What the fuck? There is no truth. There is no path. Do what is easiest. What the fuck?
I felt pretty hard for this one. I feel like it's one of the most relatable experiences that you can have. To assume that some other person is perfect and totally fulfilled in every way,
Yeah.
and completely miss all of the little flaws that make them painfully human. I think about this game a lot these days.
Alrighty.
This one took a lot longer than all the others for Coda to make. It was 4 months between this and the last one. That's twice as long as it took him to make any other game before this, and it's not like it's particularly complex, so I remember I found that a little strange at the time.
This looks like the parasite. Fuck! Alright, the performance is beginning. Places, please. In this scene, you'll be playing as me. We are gathering at a gathering of professionals. First, you will start out leaning against this wall. Good. Stay right there. The woman across the room in this chair is a professional photographer of animals. It is your dream to photograph animals professionally. This is your one chance to learn something from her, to gain something, to succeed. Go on, say something to her. Hello. Hello, that's it. Well, you actually need to converse with her being a human being. Do it again. I'm super scared right now. No. That's not what I said to her at all. You're completely missing the tone of the conversation. I was reserved, but I knew what I wanted. I was confident. For some reason, it was just that one moment, but I was confident. Maybe it's just what you need. A better feeling of setting. There's a lot of people around us. I'll give you some props to work with. These cones that bounce when you touch them represent people nearby. You must have worked really hard to get where you are. You're messing it up again. Okay. Everything is riding on this. Sorry, I mentioned earlier in stream I've been having some like weird heart palpitations. So I'm like trying to calm down my breathing a bit. Try stepping from the stage. Hey, it's a lamppost. Do we just keep going? Oh. Okay, yes, now this is working.
The game ends with this eerie premonition
This
of
is
what's
what it
going to
was
happen next in Coda's life.
Like,
The solution to social anxiety, to fears of having to perform and having to chase success, the answer for Coda is to withdraw, to hide himself away. Which is what leads to scenarios like the stairs that slowed you down several games ago,
You're doing
where
great.
it just becomes harder and harder to access Coda's inner landscape because he keeps retreating. He just keeps backing away from possible connections to anyone other than himself. And to be honest, I didn't consider it very healthy when I first played this game. You know, it looked to me like he was trying to justify the idea of just disconnecting yourself from the world. And that wasn't what I wanted for him or for his games. Because I feel like a lot of his games are inviting me to connect with this person, to bring him closer. But what can you do? After this, Coda went off and took another 5 months to make a new game.
Mobius Trip. To play this game properly, you must keep your eyes closed. Click to begin the game. Okay, I'm closing my eyes. My eyes are closed. I'm not looking at anything. Okay. Help, I'm blind. Are we going to crash? Please, someone talk to me. What do we... Oh, God. Ah! Alright. Well, fuck. Do we just do this over and over and over again? What's
You
going
should probably open your eyes if you haven't already.
Yeah,
It's
no
pretty
shit.
much impossible to solve otherwise. And there is a solution, by the way.
Oh. What's the solution? Is there a switch? I can't keep making these. That's it. That's the truth. Oh.
Like I said, I was getting concerned.
Huh.
First off, he's never been this explicit in his work about exactly what he's thinking. So where's that coming from? But
I thought it
then
was
even
gonna be
weirder,
easy.
his work has potentially stopped being an outlet for him. Not like he's having trouble iterating on ideas, but he literally just can't think of new ideas anymore. And in person, he was being a lot more distant than usual. Like, you know how sometimes a person will just deflect anything that you say in order to keep themselves disconnected all the time? It was that kind of thing. Here was the point in my relationship with Coda where I really started to wonder if he needed my help in some way. His games are going to get more desperate from here on out.
Aw, come on.
After this game, it's almost 6 months before he finishes something new.
Well, that's fucked. December 2010. Hello? Okay. Where did this island come from? Is that a person? How lovely. It's been a long time since I talked to anyone. What's wrong? You look lost. When I try to create, I feel empty. Oh no. What's happened? Did something change? There's a machine that kept me going and it stopped. Wait, you're looking for a machine? I think I know where it is. It isn't far. I need to see it. I need to know why it stopped. I can take you to it, but
If
there's
the
a
last
problem.
game
It's
featured
guarded by
Coda
a
talking
difficult
explicitly
puzzle.
about his creative frustrations, this one turns it up to 11.
Deal?
Now, put yourself in my shoes playing this. Here's a friend whose work is exhibiting signs of struggle, frustration, anxiety, depression, even. And yet, still, he keeps making games. He keeps throwing himself into the grinder even when he clearly doesn't have the energy for it anymore. Why? What is it for? Because from my perspective at the time and just what I knew of him, this was a result of how isolated he was. He was in his own little bubble, just sitting at his computer all day, not really showing these games to anyone, not releasing them onto the internet, and so he didn't have anyone outside of himself to connect with. He had no outlet to ground himself on.
Oh, first you have to open the door. Now you have to close the first door. Now just press the switch here. Sorry, I'm yawning a lot.
You can't talk yourself out of loneliness. It doesn't work that way. You can't be the one writing both the questions and the answers. Then there's no movement. Then there's no circulation. If all of your anxieties are being channeled into your work, then if the work ever fails, you have no backup and you're just going to crash.
There's no machine here. Trust me, you'll see. You have to say the work's fun and easy. You have to say the game development is simple and joyous, that you love it 100% of the time. Why did it feel so awful when I said that? Don't worry about it, just keep talking. keep saying that creation is easy. Sorry. That's
Seeing
wonderful.
This game at the
Keep
time
going.
that he made it looked really unhealthy to me. I was watching him do this to himself, and I hated it. I hated seeing him so trapped. It's like video games are not worth this amount of suffering. This is someone I really cared about, and I used to get so much joy out of seeing him create. For him to suddenly become angry and frustrated like this, it was the worst thing for me.
Keep
I don't
going.
know. This is what I felt at the time. I don't know how else to explain it. I wanted
Oh,
it to
it's the
stop
prison
more
again.
than anything. I had never felt so rotten. I needed more than I had ever needed anything for this to stop.
That
But it didn't
sucks.
stop. After finishing this one, Coda takes another 7 months and comes up with a new game.
Honestly, I feel that way with like my videos sometimes. Like I've been taking a lot of breaks recently. You kind of have to. Ma'am, I'm glad to see you arrived safely. We've captured the machine that's waiting for you now. You can begin interrogation whenever you like. I intend to be quick. Very good. Just be warned that someone called the press, so we might have a bit of attention on this one. Also, one more thing you should know about the machine. It calls itself Coda. Oh my god, okay. Hi, Coda.
And of course, it's the machine.
Your work was keeping us alive. Those people out there, can you imagine the pain you put them through? So here's what needs to happen. You need to go out there and apologize to them. No, nothing? Alright then, I will speak to them for you. My friends. It falls on me to deliver bad news. The machine will not apologize to us. But this is not important. We're stronger than it thinks we are. Let us pay it retribution. Follow me, we will destroy everything that the machine has created. Oh, jeez. Aw. Okay.
So now the work is becoming self-destructive. And I'll tell you, at the time that I first played this game, shortly after he made it, here's what I'm thinking to myself. I'm thinking that Code is stuck in his own head, and that it's having a very negative effect on him, and that all he needs to do is just start showing his work to people, to get some actual feedback on his games. It might get him out of isolation. And so, as I'm thinking this, I realize that I could be the one to initiate it. Because it would never occur to Coda to start actively soliciting feedback, so what if I did it for him?
The way you put
If
them
he
out
could see the difference it
shows
would
that
make
you take
to
care
have
of
more
yourself
actual
needs.
conversations with other human
Which,
beings,
yeah, which I didn't at
would that bring
first.
him out of his mental spiral? Would it give him confidence in himself? Would it bring meaning back into his work?
I know some of my crappiest videos were like right at the beginning. That was because like my grandmother had passed away and I was really isolated and lonely, and I just kept like pushing myself and pushing myself. And eventually I just kind of got burned out. I almost thought I would quit for a while. Whoa.
So I started showing Coda's work to people. I took this one, and the islands which you just played, the theater, the notes, the house cleaning game, and some of the prison escape games. I brought them to people that I knew and trusted. I asked their opinions. And the great part is that they really loved his games. You know, the point of it all was just to give him some external reference point, but they genuinely loved his work.
Yeah.
There was nothing for him to be afraid of.
Put down your weapon. I don't think so. Say hello to my little friend.
Can you see why I felt like this was the right thing to do? Because it's the thing that I always feel like I need, to be told that my work is good, that I am good. When someone really connects with a thing that I've made, when they see themselves purely in my work, there's nothing that feels better. And I got to give that very same feeling to my friend. I did something, I really felt like I'd done something good, like I was a good person. I felt like there was a friend who was in trouble and was unhappy and maybe didn't like themselves, and I could fix it. If I could give him this gift, maybe I could fix the problem. When they told me how much they enjoyed his games, it was the best feeling. It was the absolute best feeling. It made me feel so happy. So beautifully, beautifully happy.
Well then.
So anyway, Coda finishes this game, and then really he just kind of takes off for a while. So this is June of 2011, and I didn't hear anything from him for several weeks, I guess. And so out of nowhere, one day I get an email, and it's got a private link to a new game of Coda's.
Sorry
This
about
one is
that.
called The Tower, and to my knowledge, it's the last game that Coda ever made. So let's take a look.
All right. I kind of get that though. I know my brother's a lot like that. He's very talented. He's very artistic, and he's really, really creative. But he doesn't really like to show it to anyone. And you kind of, as much as you want to show pride in like your friends and loved ones, you also have to respect their wishes.
And this is where I have trouble saying anything meaningful about Coda's work. Because more than anything else, the tower just feels distant. It feels like it's trying to distance itself from the world. It's a very cold game. This room actually has a maze in it.
Have you ever played any of the Metal Gear series? Fuck.
Except that all the walls of the maze are invisible.
No, I haven't.
And then every time you touch one of the walls, there's this awful flashing and noise, so the experience is really miserable. The game goes beyond not being meant to be played, it actually seems to despise the player for trying to play it at all. But I do want to show you the rest of the levels, so when you're ready to continue, press enter and I'll put a bridge over the maze.
Once again. Yeah. That'd be a fun thing to play on stream. I know Dragon Age looks really cool. I love the fantasy stuff.
And to be fair, it's not like this is the first game that's needed some modification to be playable.
Right.
Like the house cleaning game. You know, that one used to actually loop the cleaning chores and you just cleaned a house forever. I had to cut it off so that you could exit the house and the game would actually end.
But does the game need
But
to end?
that game had an idea that it was actually trying to communicate. What's the deeper idea behind the invisible maze?
Leave me alone.
The only way past this challenge is to randomly guess the 6-digit code. Like the invisible maze, it's frustrating to me, because it's the opposite of everything else that Coda has made. It doesn't encourage thought or engagement. It doesn't ask anything of me, except a lot of my time. If I could have reached him during this time, then maybe I could have asked him, but I couldn't. I still don't really understand why this is here. I'll put the code on the ground for you here, though, so that we can move on.
One second. We gotta do some important. No, wait. Okay, I fucked it up. 151617. 1 5 1 6 1 7. When the game came out, you could tell Hideo Kojima was done with it. In fact, they took his name off of it and he walked away from Konami. Oh, damn. What's the one game I really want to play? Oh, Mass Effect.
The switch to open this door is actually on the other side of the door, meaning that it's literally impossible to solve from this side. So even if you somehow brute forced your way through the first 2 challenges and you got to this point, there's actually just no way to progress. And it's scary for me, the idea of Coda cutting himself off entirely, just saying, that's it, that's the end of the conversation, not giving me any way to fix the problem. I feel like a failure, I guess, when I can't fix the problem.
But is it a problem?
I can open this door for you, so let me do that.
Like someone doing what they want to do with their own vision and their
Was I
own
a failure
creativity.
for not understanding this game?
That's
I don't
not
know
a
why
problem.
I would be. It's not like everything needs to have a solution, but I feel it somehow. I feel like I failed, and I don't understand why.
I don't know why
I
this
remember,
game
it's June of
pisses me off more.
2011. I'm playing this for the very first time, and as I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know this person.
This game pisses me off more
I
now
have
that I'm
no
playing it
idea who this person is.
after high school and
It
stuff.
wasn't the guy I knew. It wasn't my friend.
Just the idea of someone
I had
not
come to so
respecting
many
your
conclusions
boundaries.
from looking at all of his work up to this point, and then suddenly none of them. I had been trying to, though. That was the thing. For years, I was trying to get to know him, to understand who he actually was and what he stood for. I asked him so many times to please just tell me what his games mean to him. I asked him please to tell me what the 3 dots mean. And he wouldn't. I just felt so strongly that if I could have connected with him, that if I could have somehow made his work my own, that I would finally be once and for all happy. It was that I needed to see myself in someone else. I needed to be someone other than me. But he stopped and left, and it felt somehow like
Hello.
I had failed.
Yeah, no,
Where did I screw up?
I don't know why this game is just impacting me more than it did when I played it in high school. I don't know, just because I relate to that feeling of people not respecting the boundaries that you have set in place. Yeah. Dear Davey, thank you for your interest in my games.
I'm the reason that you stopped making games, aren't I?
I need to ask you
because of
not
what
to
I did.
speak to me anymore.
I poisoned it for you.
I wonder at
think I ever
times
told you
whether
this,
you think I am making
But
these
when I
games
took your
for
work
you.
and I was showing it to people, it actually felt... it felt as though I were responsible for something important and valuable.
You infected my personal space. That's impossible.
The people who played them
To begin,
They treated me like
plant
I was
solutions in my
important.
work somewhere hidden
They
between
really
games.
listened and cared about what I had to say. Even though I was showing your work, it was
If there was an answer,
I
a meaning,
felt
would it make
good
you
about
any
myself.
happier? Would you stop
Finally,
making
for a
my games and
moment,
trying them to
while
evil
I had
against
that,
my wishes?
I liked myself.
Giving them something that is not yours to give, violating the one boundary that keeps me safe. Would you stop changing my games? Stop adding lampposts to them? Oh. Would you
And then you
simply
stopped,
let them be
And
what
I didn't
they are?
have anything left to show people. I just had to be with myself.
When I'm
And
around
as
you,
soon
I feel
as that
physically
happened,
ill. You desperately
There was
need
no
something
feeling at all.
I cannot give to you. I
Nothing.
literally do not have
Less
it.
than nothing.
Struggling to come
What
up
does
with new
that
ideas
mean?
is not making me depressed. Low points are just a part of the process. The fact that you think I am frustrated or broken says more about you than about me. I realize that this doesn't make any sense to you yet. Which is fine, you're not my problem to solve. But I do hope that one day it clicks and that you make peace with the one thing you were wrestling.
I'm afraid that I did something really stupid because I don't like myself.
And when you finally see what I'm talking about, don't say anything.
That's why I'm releasing this collection of your work, is because I haven't been able to find any other way to reach you. I've tried everything. And so a part of me has hope that if I put this compilation out into the world, and if I put my name on it, that maybe enough people will play it so that it'll find its way to you, so that I can tell you that I'm sorry. I know I screwed up. If I apologize to you truly and deeply, will you start making games again? Please, I need to feel okay with myself again. And I always felt okay as long as I had your work to see myself in. I mean, is something wrong with me? Because I know that I did an awful thing, and I'm doing it again right now. Like, I'm showing people your work, but I can't stop myself from doing it. That's how badly I need to feel something again, like I'm an addict. There has to be something wrong with me. Can I apologize? What if I tell you I was wrong? Will that work? Will that fix it? I don't know. I don't think it will, but there's nothing else that I can do. Just tell me what you want.
It's closing in.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Please, start making games again. Please help me. Please give me some of whatever it is that makes you complete. I want whatever that wholeness is that you just summoned out of nothing and you put into your work. You were complete in some way that I never was. And I want to know how to be a good person. I want to know how not to hate myself. Please. I'm fading, and all I want is to know that I'm going to be okay.
You're catching the very end of the game here, dude. A train station. Just like Half-Life.
More love, more praise, more people telling me that I'm good. Always more. It's like a disease. Solution. I guess if someone had told me ahead of time that he just really enjoyed making prison games, maybe I wouldn't have thought he was so desperate. I wouldn't have told so many people that he was depressed. Maybe he just likes making prisons. Even now, the disease is telling me to stop. Don't show people what a shitty person you are. They'll hate you.
Huh.
If I knew that my life depended on finding something to be driven by other than validation, what would that even be? It's strange, but the thought of not being driven by external validation is unthinkable. Like, I actually cannot conceive of what that would be like.
Huh.
What now? I think I need to go. And I'm sorry, because I know that I said that I would be here and I would walk you through this, but I'm starting to feel like I have a lot of work to do. I have a lot that I need to make up for.
Yeah, that
So
would be fun. I did
just gonna...
Yeah. I'm kind of invested with the story,
Okay.
sorry. I'm like completely absorbed in this. Yeah, Half-Life would be fun. I tried doing Black Mesa. But Half-Life I've actually played before, so... that would be fun. I mean, it's kind of hard. I can't tell. I never figured out if this is like an actual thing or if this is just a fictional story. This feels very real. I see how the game is. It's pretty. I mean, if any of you guys out there are like creative or artistic in any way, I feel like this speaks to you on some level. Just kind of the feeling of constantly needing validation. Constantly like seeking out that thing that makes you feel validated. Even if that means kind of dragging other people into your own perception of what success is. Huh. Oh, it's the light again from the beginning. Huh. Oh, do we have to sacrifice ourselves? Alright. Whoa. Whoa, what the hell? I forgot about this part. This is insane. His brain was the labyrinth all along. He fucked around and he found out. Sorry. Aw. 4R.
Turn back from this cave. You said let
This
me
project would not have been
prove
possible
that
without the
I'm
following
brave.
individuals.
Let me keep going. But the cave goes for miles and miles and miles. And you're
Additional
so
thanks.
tired. But I know that you're strong. So turn back. Turn back.
Damn. Well, final consensus on stream settings and stream quality. Everything is running smoothly. There was that little hiccup at the beginning where I completely forgot to put the actual game on stream, but I think we remedied that pretty quickly. Yeah, that was really fun. It was really fun to just sit back and enjoy a story that was being told. My brain is full of so many thoughts right now. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people can relate to that. That feeling of the feeling of pressure when, someone wants you to do something. Like, they see so much potential in you, but they see their version of potential in you. Like, they see their own output of that potential in you, and not actually what you want with your life. And that's something I related to. I think one of the reasons why I stopped singing, because, like, my dream in high school was Broadway. That was all I talked about. Singing. That was all I was going to do with my life. And then it just kind of... I was able to take a step back, and I realized it's not actually what I want with my life. It was just what other people wanted for my life because I was good at it. And it wasn't actually what I felt would be the right path for me in life. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, so I think I'm gonna wrap up stream there. Thank you so much for joining me on this kind of chill, laid-back adventure. I really enjoyed playing this. A lot better than the last few times of stream. I think the game was causing problems. Yeah, it was also a really high-quality game, a very demanding game. I think it was the problem with the game, so I'll mess around with the settings. And I was actually able to do bandwidth tests this time, so I was able to get a sense of, like, issues and stuff. Yeah, have you ever seen the movie Pure Country 2? No, I have not. I don't really have any comments. It's just one of those stories where you just absorb it and then you just let it sit with you for a while. So I think I'm gonna let it sit with you guys for a while as it's sitting with me right now. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I guess I'll see you on Friday. Alright. Later. What the fuck is that? Alright, I'm just ending the stream here. No scenes. You don't deserve it. I'm kidding. You deserve it. It will speak to you when you get a chance to watch it. I will watch it then. Alright. Later. See you on Friday.